Welcome to round 7 and 8 of the 2018 Cox Motor Parts Civic Cup. You find us at a very sunny and bright Snetterton in a championship that is getting closer and closer by the weekend. So far, Rob Baker leads by 12 points, but there's been 6 different race winners from the first 6 races. So is anyone going to pick up win number 2 this weekend, or will we make it 8 from 8? It's time to find out. Here's Richard John Neal with the grid for race 1.
Thank you, Scott. Rob Baker on pole, Daniel Hobson alongside David Vincent, and Daniel Reason next from Bruce Winfield and David Buki. Lewis Rose and Mark Grice on row 4, Ben Sharp and James Griffith, followed by Martin DL and Jason Ballantyne. Aaron Sharp and Phil Wright next up from Ollie Barsby and Andy Hart. Paul McHugh, Craig Carter and Dave Poyser complete the grid. Round 7 of the championship here at Snetterton on the 300 circuit. That's the full twist and turns, 3 miles the circuit. Lights are on. Pretty long wait. The officials teasing the drivers on the grid here today in Norfolk, and a British touring car. Look to this field, absolutely superb start, and it's Daniel Hobson, I think, that's got the run out into riches for the first time. It is. And Daniel Reason's done well too, the man who took pole position at Silverstone for the first round of the year. Somebody's gone off. Now, anytime you're going to hit the grass, because of the very long run of hot weather we've had, we're going to kick up a load of dust. And you can see the grass very parched here. Jason Ballantyne chasing Martin DL. Ballantyne second in the championship. And this is a superb onboard shot on the infield section. Little bit of a raise, then downhill coming into Agostini. It doesn't look like a hairpin from here, but it is. I guess it doesn't look like the hairpin because you can't quite see the exit, and the camera's generally, of course, planted on the exit so we can catch them going down the straight. We've got a little bit of a clatter as they exit that corner. On board with Mark Grice coming into Oggie's corner, short straight before they join the back straight here. This is where we go back onto the old part of the circuit here at Snetterton. As you can see, a little bit of cloud cover, hopefully keeping things slightly cooler. There is Martin DL, busy chasing Jason Ballantyne. And it's a pretty good start, really, by all concerned, as they head down the Bentley straight for the first time. And it's Daniel Hobson out front, Daniel Reason in second place, and then in third place the pole position man Rob Baker, who is obviously going to be keen to try and extend his championship lead. He has 115 points. He's 12 points clear of Jason Ballantyne. I suppose importantly, he's ahead of Ballantyne at the moment in the race, and he'll just be looking to carry on with that. But here they come out of the Murray's corner, named after Murray Walker, of course, and then on to Senna Straight to complete the first lap. I like the sound of those cars from my pit wall camera. They sound absolutely superb, and they look great as well. Ticking off that first lap, and we are well underway. Race leaders up in towards riches once again. There's David Buki in the 51. David's best result so far, 4th place at All Park race number 1. You probably remember that on our last programme. Rob Baker coming under pressure at the moment from Mark Grice in the 34 car. Mark 4th in the championship, just 3 points adrift of Daniel Reason, but Daniel is up front at the moment, and I think about to be passed by Rob Baker, who's looking down the inside line. This is always a potential passing place. I've got to take my hat off to Reason there. He looked in his mirror, or over his shoulder, probably more likely in his mirror, and he saw the number 6 car, Rob Baker, coming through on the inside line, and you can see that was a great shot of him coming down into Agostini. He was ready for that, and he gave him room, so that was fair, clean racing from the pair of them. And it means that Rob Baker, the pole position man, his 2nd pole position of the year, goes up into 2nd place. Daniel Reason down to 3rd. Reason started 4, so at the moment it's a reason to be cheerful, because he's got 1 place made up on his starting position. Bentley straight for the 2nd time into the Brundle Nelson complex. The race leader is already there. Daniel Hobson, who made that great start from the outside of the front row. Reason still followed by Grice. And then it's Bruce Winfield, who started 5th and maintains 5th position at the moment. Let's see what Mark Grice can do now. Reason coming under a little bit of pressure immediately in front of us. Reason, remember, won the opening race of the year in his FN2. Had a brace of podia last time out at Alton Park. Alton, of course, as many twists and turns as Snetterton 300. Snetterton slightly flatter, not the gradient changes here, but a superb technical circuit nonetheless. It's perhaps extra pace worrying the race leader at the moment. Look at, and driving standards wise, I'm going to point something out here. When they come through Coram next time, you can see the floppy markers sticking up out of the ground, and none of those have gone yet, and we're in towards the closing stages of the race, and that says a great deal about driving standards here. MSV, of course, have the little cameras on the curbs for track limits, but even so, you're allowed one track limit. I'm surprised we haven't seen more of those go, but we're seeing some precision driving at the moment from these boys in this race. Hobson and Baker 1 and 2. Baker with fastest lap so far. So it's Daniel Hobson then, car number 25, still the race leader. He is 5th in the championship. This is going to afford him another 25 points. It will be 23 at the moment for the second place man, Rob Baker. 22 for second place, an additional point for fastest lap. Out of Palmer, down into Agostini they go again. Daniel Reason still running in 3rd place in the 77 car, having started 4th, so a little bit of progress for him. We're going to see James Griffith starting on, at the moment, on pole position for race 2, holding 10th place. And the great thing about that is, of course, the drivers will get the pit signals. They know the top 10 are going to be reversed in race 2. And that means that 10th place is almost as an important battle as the race lead. Griffith, with Aaron Sharp behind him at the moment, is of course going to be mindful of that. He's going to want that pole position for race 2. So it just gives a little bit of added incentive, impetus onto those drivers competing hard, because if you finish 11th place, you start 11th in race 2, but 10th you get to start pole and the chance of a win, which we've seen a couple of times throughout the history, or more than a couple of times in the history of the Cox Motor Parts Civic Cup. Daniel Hobson still out front. Rob Baker in second. Baker knows that this is going to be a good score. He's outscoring the following 3 drivers in the championship table at the moment, so that's the significance of this second place drive for Rob Baker. He won race 1 on Anglesey, so we haven't seen him win a race yet, but I'm sure that's going to come before the end of the year. A quick reminder that we go to Castle Combe in August, Brands Hatch on the 9th of September, and we wind up with the double header, as all of the rounds are, at Donington Park in October. As across the line again onto the last lap goes Daniel Hobson from Rob Baker, Daniel Reason into Riches, and it looks like Rob Baker is going to have to rely on some sort of mechanical failure or mistake from Daniel Hobson to get past by my money. He's trying hard. He looked slightly quicker, slightly more racy going through Riches. A bit of a sideways moment there, and on board with Mark Grice. We're looking at the back end of Daniel Reason's car. This is for a podium position, 4th to 5th, only 2 points in the awards, as it were, for it. 5th place 16 points, 4th place is 18, and Grice having a very good look here. He's on the outside line. It is doable. I have seen passes on the outside at Agostini, but there's not much room there. But Grice is having a go around the outside line, and he's side by side with Daniel Reason, who knew that the inside there just carried on a little bit. It was the shorter way round. He had the grip. Grice was always going to struggle round the outside, but he gave it a very good go. That was a superb piece of racing between those two, and it's Daniel Reason that holds on to 3rd position, and it looks like he's going to make the podium here. Although, having said that, Mark Grice is not giving up the ghost. He's still all over the back of him, and he'll feel that he has a little bit more speed than Reason, and that speed might come into play as they go down the back straight here for the last time. Let's see whether the 34 car can pick up maybe a bit of a tow and have a look down the inside line as they go into Brundle. The race leaders are there already. Daniel Hobson is still the race leader from Rob Baker. He's held on well. It was the start, really, you have to say, that propelled him through. Maybe not such a great start for Rob Baker, and Scott will no doubt talk to him about that on the podium. But it's Hobson heading into Coram for the last time, who has eked out a little bit of a gap. It's stretching out to almost a second, but there are the floppy markers I was talking about on the inside. They're still intact. Great driving from everyone in the Cox Motor Parts Civic Cup, and it's Daniel Hobson who's going to take the win. He's on the centre straight. He'll be looking for the checkered flag. That will be there. It's going to be Daniel Hobson, the first man to make it a double in the 2018 campaign. Baker second, Rees third, Grice. Bruce Whitfield is across the line in 5th place. Hobson from Baker, Rees and Grice and Winfield. David Vincent in 6th from Jason Ballantyne and Ben Sharp. Lewis Rose 9th and James Griffith in 10th. Rob Baker's fastest lap nets him an extra point. The other finishers, Aaron Sharp, David Bucke, Phil Wright, Andy Hart, Paul McHugh, David Poyser, Craig Carter and Oliver Barsby.
So Dan, that makes you the first double race winner of the season. How did that feel?
Brilliant, yeah. A lot of pressure from Rob there. I thought at one moment he closed right in me, I thought I'm going to lose it, but I managed to just sort of chill myself out a bit and take different tactics and managed to gap him again, which, absolutely brilliant with such a league of cars that are out there and drivers. It's, absolutely fantastic.
Rob, second place for you. You maintained your championship lead, but you had to press Daniel all the way from start to finish for that one.
Yeah, it was an entertaining race again, same as always really. Those three have had good battles all year and it carried on in that one.
So down third place for you, you had a lot of pressure from behind, having to work your way through with Mark behind you. It was a pretty tough race.
Yeah, it was a really difficult race, probably one of the hardest. Constant pressure from Rob at the start, he's nipped through, and then Mark straight away was on me pretty much the whole race, so I fought for that position, believe me.
Welcome back to the Cox Motor Parks Civic Cup here at Snetterton. James Griffith on pole for this one. Lewis Rose alongside him. Ben Sharp and Jason Ballantyne, David Vincent and Bruce Winfield. Mark Grice and Daniel Reason from Rob Baker and Daniel Hobson, the race winner in race 1. Aaron Sharp and David Bucke next from Phil Wright, Andy Hart, Paul McHugh, David Poyser, Craig Carter and Oliver Barsby. Martin DL was a non-finisher and he starts off the back of the grid. All of the drivers with work to do, including James Griffith, a reward for 10th place finish, pole position for this one. Partially reversed grid, touring car style start here on what I think is one of the... Oh, we got a problem there off the grid. One of the cars very slow indeed. David Vincent is past. You can see Daniel Reason there in the 77 car just to the left of shot, making progress already. Superb sight these cars make as they head around Riches for the first time, down in towards the hairpin. Daniel Reason, the man who leads them, and he's still got that lead, and this could be a big confidence booster for somebody starting on pole position, possibly for the first time. We look across, you can see the 63 car of Phil Wright, who is there busy trying to chase, but it's James Griffith, the race leader at the moment, comes downhill, and a great big gaggle of cars. Of course, as the race leader, you could have a bunch of cars that are looking to swap places immediately behind you. It's Ben Sharp who's gone up into second place, Bruce Winfield third, and then I think Jason Ballantyne in fourth position. So Mark Grice is fifth, looking behind Jason Ballantyne at the moment. Bruce Winfield you can see in white immediately ahead. So this, the corner that brings them onto the back straight for the first time in race 2. Ballantyne runs a little bit wide. Grice is going to try and get the momentum down the outside line. Ballantyne just coming across to defend. Not that much to defend here on the outside line. It is possible to brave it out there on the outside because it converts to the inside for the second part of the S's as they come under the bridge. But it's still James Griffith out front. Let's remember round 8 of the championship. We've had 6 different winners in 7 races. Are we about to get another first time winner here with James Griffith? That could well be the case as Daniel Hobson looks to try and close down the inside line of Lewis Rose coming into Coram. Rose has left the door open, a little line of fluid that's been cleared up and treated by the marshals, you could see there. That was a good move. Here's our outfield look at the on-board battle that we were chasing in the early stages of the lap. Mark Grice in the 34, busy chasing Jason Ballantyne, but as they come across the line, it's James Griffith that leads from Ben Sharp. Ben Sharp looking to improve on his best result so far this season, 5th place in round 2. David Vincent in 75 from Aaron Sharp, and one of the cars taking a very high wide line down into Riches. So here we are on the hairpin, which is Wilson hairpin, named after Justin Wilson. It was originally called Montreal, and now into the left-hander Palmer, named after Jonathan Palmer, the circuit owner, who's done so much to invest and put some great facilities through. I say it a lot, I make no apology for that, because I think it's a terrific advertisement for the MSV circuits and British racing in general. And not only the circuit's great, but he employs some great staff, really helpful staff as well up and down the country, and puts on some great racing, such as the Cox Motor Parts Civic Cup, which we're watching now. And it's Griffith still out front at the head of this group of cars that are still working hard. Championship-wise, I can tell you that Rob Baker extended the championship lead. He's now on, by my maths, 138 points. Got Daniel Reason there in the 77 car, now up into 2nd place in the championship. He was 3rd coming into the meeting. So Reason, with that 3rd place in race 1, moves on to 120 points. But we've got a tie now for 3rd between Jason Ballantyne, who we've seen here, and Mark Grice, who are together. So those two are not only fighting for the position in the race, but also the championship position. Ballantyne 7th in race 1, Mark Grice 4th position in race 1. So plenty to play for. Daniel Hobson, who won race 1, is consolidating his 5th position in the standings now on 107 points, and that's all by my maths. If I've missed anybody, I sincerely apologise, but we'll have the official points for the end of the meeting for you at the end of the programme. Into Coram they go, and for many of these drivers having their best results here at Snetterton. Grice over the back at the moment of Bruce Winfield, so Grice now ahead of Jason Ballantyne, and you can see Rob Baker is coming into the mix as well. Let's just stay on board with Mark Grice along centre straight, briefly uphill, little downhill run into Rich's corner. He's teeing up Winfield. This looks like a good move, a little bit too far back, realises that's the case, comes off the gas, and well, he knows he's got the pace, and it's all about timing here. And of course the lead drivers in the reverse grid, or the partially reverse grid, they know that a win is not out of the question, but it's difficult, and the key thing is that you've got to survive and grab some points. That's what they're all looking for. David Buki in the 51 car getting stuck in there, makes a very neat pass indeed. Buki, no slouch around here, he was on the podium in 2017 here. Mark Higginson winning race 1 from Martin James, and David taking a podium then, so he obviously likes the circuit. 3rd clear here, unless he outscores Daniel Reason by a number of points, and probably need to check up on that. At the moment, Grice running in 4th place, which would be 18 points, and Ballantyne in 6th position, which would be 4 down, so Grice will hold on to that. The other thing we need to check on is Daniel Reason, who's a couple of points down, so I think possibly Grice might get back up into 2nd place in the championship, but we'll let the race officials do the maths on that at the end, because we've still got this great race. And again, just how dry it's been this summer. One wheel off onto the, you can't say grass now, it's on the dirt, you get this spray of dust that comes up. I think that's Oliver Barsby parked up. He's our only retiree so far. The fastest lap of the race at the moment set by Rob Baker, so he's on for that additional point as well, which could come into play at the end of the year. A solitary point for fastest lap, but how crucial could that be at the end of the year? Here's the race leader, James Griffith, coming down towards us. Ben Sharp 2nd, monumental battle on for 3rd. Make that 4th place, because at the moment Rob Baker is the man having a look. He's all over the back, Baker, at the moment, but we've got some action here as well. And Daniel Hobson with Daniel Reason goes off, so Hobson's going to lose a couple of places here. He's going to rejoin, but he's lost a couple of places, and that is some points disappearing away there for the man who is presently 2nd in the championship. That could ebb away from him in this race, but remember, we're just into the 2nd half of the season now, with round 8 of the championship. Grice has definitely got the attention of Rob Baker here. This one he's toing and froing as Grice closes up on Bruce Winfield. He has a look again, hasn't got the momentum to dive down the inside into Brundle, and he's got to be mindful of that blue car of the championship leader Rob Baker right with him. First and second look okay. Griffith from Sharp. Griffith has taken everything that Ben Sharp's thrown at him so far, but it's Mark Grice still there in 4th position. And Bruce Winfield has been very good value for money in this one. So Winfield coming under attack now. Having said that, Grice very quick here on that outside line and points the car at the inside line again at Murray's and goes through. Winfield, though, is going to try and get the most of the momentum out of the car, but that was a superb manoeuvre from Mark Grice, who teed that up well. We've got a black and white driving standards flag going out as well. So here's the leader, Griffiths on the last lap, Griffith looking for his first win. And then back in front has gone Bruce Winfield, who got the run down the straight, but he's got the 34 car of Mark Grice all over the back of him. Grice challenging hard once again, locks up as they go into Wilson. Hairpin, he's got the inside line here, which converts to the outside at Palmer. This has been a superb race between these boys. Here's the view that Grice has had for most of it. He momentarily got into 3rd place, but got deposed again by Winfield, who's been superb. They've both been superb. Rob Baker keeping a watching brief. He wanted to get stuck in as well. This is one of the potential passing points. Is it going to be on the grass? It is. He couldn't quite do it at the hairpin there at Agostini. Doesn't lose too much momentum, as you can see. Winfield would have had one eye on his mirrors to see whether the 34 car was going to come through, but this is an absolutely superb shot. Right out beyond the curbs very slightly there. I don't think they've been persistently doing that. We're not getting any timing signals to say that anyone's being penalised. So again, great driving standards from everybody in this championship here. And I know it's easy to say, well, they've got cameras and they can throw you out, but none of the drivers have consistently done track limits. They've all really stuck to the track. Just proves that you can do it. So this is really, you've got to say, an example and a demonstration for other drivers that you can stick to the track limits on the MSV circuits. So we're looking at the battle for 3rd place, and it's Bruce Winfield still there at the moment. James Griffith in red is away, Ben Sharp in 2nd, and this the scrap for 3rd, which again looks closer at the moment to be a battle for 4th, because Rob Baker closing in on Mark Grice. He's only got Coram and then Murray's and then the run down the centre straight to do it, which is what this man has to do now coming into Murray's. Lifts a wheel in superb style, and it's going to be James Griffith who becomes our 7th different winner of the season in the Cox Motor Parts Civic Cup. Here's the checker. James Griffith takes the win. Ben Sharp 2nd. 3rd place, well earned for Bruce Winfield from Mark Grice. Rob Baker, the championship leader. Jason Ballantyne next from Daniel Rees and Lewis Rose. Then David Vincent. Aaron Sharp completes the top 10 here at Snetterton. Now here's confirmation of that top 10, with Rob Baker, the championship leader, picking up another bonus point for fastest lap. That took place on lap 5. 11th place goes to David Buki from Daniel Hobson. Martin DL next from Phil Wright. Andy Hart, David Poyser, Craig Carter 17th, and Paul McHugh. Championship headed by Rob Baker from Mark Grice in 2nd. Daniel Reason momentarily in 2nd, but now down to 3rd from Jason Ballantyne, Daniel Hobson and James Griffith in 6th.